Oh, welcome into another unboxing with Super Heroclix. Today we have Apokolips Planet Pack. I'm actually a little bit bummed on this one, to be honest. We'll go ahead and open up the box, and I'll tell you why as we do it. Um, I don't know how we're getting an Apokolips pack without Darkseid. Like, I know we're getting a legacy card of Darkseid in this, but I wanted an actual new Darkseid to go with the set. But I digress. Let's go ahead and toss that away and see what's actually in this box set. To start off, looks like we got some bystander tokens. Go ahead and pop this out and take a closer look at it. So we got two already that fell out, but that's fine. Looks like we got some boom tube tokens and then some parademon tokens, and looks like we got some varied Apokolips themed characters here as well. And as for actual new characters that we get in this set, so we got some parademons and we got the Apokolips Planet. I don't know why everyone's kind of hating on those planet pieces, but I'm kind of a fan. I like them. So we'll dive a little bit deeper and see what that does, and a little closer look at the parademon itself. I think all three parademons are the same, but we'll go ahead and dive in a little bit deeper. So after taking a closer look, I can confirm that all three parademons are exactly the same. We'll go ahead and take a look at the front of the card now. So the keywords are Apokolips, Brute, Cosmic, Monster, and Warrior. So you could definitely fit them on a lot of different theme teams. You're probably going to want to fit them on Apokolips more often than not. But we'll go ahead and check out his trait. Apokolips demands my service. Once per attack, when a friendly character with the Apokolips keyword and a greater point value than Parademon would be hit by an opponent's attack, if Parademon isn't a target of that attack, you may place him adjacent to that character. Parademon becomes the hit target of that attack instead. That actually seems like a really great trait for Apokolips themed teams. I mean, that means you can run up your heavy hitters like Darkseid or any of his goons or Granny Goodness or something like that up right into the heat of battle. Keep your parademons kind of in the back for 15 points. And then as soon as they get hit, you bring parademon up and they get hit instead. That's actually pretty awesome. And then you could play him at, looks like 50 or 15 points. I'd say probably playing him at 15 points is better. But let's go ahead and see what his next trait does. Expendable Goon, Boom Tube Invasion. When Parademon is KO'd by an opposing character after resolutions, you may roll a d6. On 1 through 3, remove an action token from a friendly character with the Apokolips keyword. On a 4 through 6, generate a character with an Expendable Goon trait on its 15-point starting line adjacent to a friendly character. So yeah, I would definitely say play this guy at 15 points with this Expendable Goon trait. Worst case, you roll a 1 through 3 and you get to take off an action token from, Darkseid or another Apokolips keyword character. Best case scenario, you roll a 4 through 6 and you get to keep triggering this Apokolips demands my service trait. And I also went ahead and checked, just out of curiosity, the other LE parademon we got not that long ago also has the same Apokolips demands my service trait. It also has the Expendable Goon trait. Really, the only difference is that their 50 and 15-point starting line powers are switched. So the Con LE that we got a while ago starts off with Running Shot and then gets charged at 15 points. This one starts off with Charge at 50 points and then gets Running Shot at 15 points. So very similar, except for those powers just being swapped. So overall, I'd say this is a pretty solid piece for Apokolips theme teams as a support piece, kind of, a little bit of fodder for your main hitters. But let's go ahead and check out the other actual piece we got in this set. Next, we have the Planet Apokolips. Keywords are Apokolips and Cosmic. His trait is Apokolips Now. When Apokolips starts the game, place them on their card. Apokolips can be given actions and use their powers and abilities when on their card. At the beginning of your turn, if no friendly characters with the Apokolips keyword are on the map, KO Apokolips. So this is a pretty standard trait that the past two planets in the Lantern Legacy set has had as well. Basically, you just take them off their card at the beginning of the game, and they could work through this one specifically through characters with the Apokolips keyword. You could play him at 40 points. Looks like he has a 5 range, 5 clicks of life, 0 movement, attack, and damage, so definitely more of a support piece. Some prob, outwit, and perplex, and a little bit of poison and force blast. So definitely seems like he could mess up the opposing team a little bit, but let's check out the other side of the card and see what else he could do. For the glory of Darkside, at the beginning of your turn, choose a friendly character with the Apokolips keyword. Until your next turn, when Apokolips uses a power or ability, they may do so as if they occupied the chosen character square. Free. Generate a bystander with Darkside's elite keyword that Apokolips hasn't generated yet this game. That deals then deal Apokolips 1 unavoidable damage. This game, that bystander isn't scored when KO'd. That's actually pretty interesting. So the other planets, anytime they take an action, I think whether it's free or costed, you have to roll to deal them damage. But Apokolips is different here in the sense that you only deal them damage when they take this free action of generating a bystander with the Darkside's elite keyword. So it seems like you could actually do force blast, poison, and it wouldn't deal it damage at all. So that's actually pretty cool. His next trait, Boom Tube Technology. Power. Generate a boom tube marker within range. At the beginning of your turn, you may place a friendly character with the Apokolips keyword into a square with a boom tube marker within range. So that's interesting too. He has a range of 5, so you could take power actions to drop these boom tube markers. Essentially kind of giving him like a TK if you get enough out, where you could kind of move your characters around for free. So that's actually not bad. So going back to the For Glory of Darkside trait, there's 6 bystanders in this set, and Apokolips only has 5 clicks, which means you could only bring out potentially 5 of these guys before KOing Apokolips. So as you can see on the screen, they all do different things. You got Dr. Bedlam, who has a little bit of Empower, some running shot precision, so maybe a potential attacker there. You got Calabac with Sidestep, Penetrating, Invulnerability, and Close Combat Expert. So once again, maybe a little more of a close attacker there. You have Desaad, who has Phasing, Energy Explosion, Mastermind, and Range Combat Expert. So maybe he could be dealing 11 for 2 damage on some characters. Kanto, which is a stealth precision perplex piece, so he might be nice to bring out for another perplex. Then you got Steppenwolf with some charge, blades, toughness, and leadership, so that could be pretty nice to just summon another leadership on your team in case you need one later. And then you have Glorious Godfrey. There's more really just of an enhancement and a little bit of mind control. They all have 2 targets, so there's definitely some potential there for some support pieces, but honestly, I don't know if it's worth bringing all these guys out and KOing Apokolips. Maybe if you really need some late game attackers or to get off a mind control or really just another perplex from Kanto. That's really all I could see, for using these guys, but that's just my opinion. Next, we'll check out the legacy card for Granny Goodness. Thankfully, I do have this piece, so I'm a little bit excited to see what she does. Granny Goodness has the Apokolips, Female Furies, New Gods, Cosmic Deity, and Warrior keywords. She has a Superman enemy team ability, and her trait, Apocalyptic Tactics. Other friendly characters with the Apokolips keyword have the Superman enemy team ability. So that's actually pretty cool. So you're definitely going to have a lot of characters that are lower point values on this team between the parademons, the planet Apokolips, and the bystanders that it could generate. So definitely able to give higher point characters some outwit. Her special defense, she does get to start off with it. It's called Earn Granny's Love, combat reflexes and invulnerability. And then her special damage power, Die for Darkside. When a friendly character with the Apokolips keyword is KO'd, all other friendly characters with the Apokolips keyword modify attack and damage +1 until the end of your next turn. So that can be pretty useful too. Once again, you're probably going to have a lot of lower point figures on the team who can die pretty easily, especially the parademons, since you're going to be masterminding damage to them. So getting to modify attack and damage by +1 on your heavy hitters could be pretty useful. She does come from the Harley Quinn and the Gotham Girls set, so all of her values, her attack, defense, damage values are pretty low just because everything in that set was low. So not a huge fan of that, but it is what it is. I think for 50 points, she could definitely be a good support piece for an Apokolips themed team. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the main man himself, Darkside. I am not lucky enough to have this piece. You could only acquire this piece from a Justice League strategy game that came out in 2014. So, needless to say, a lot of people don't have this piece unless you bought that back then. But I can show off the legacy card for you guys. So, the keywords that Darkside has are Apokolips, New Gods, Cosmic, Deity, and Ruler. He has the Cosmic TA, so no outwitting, and he's got a little bit of willpower. You could play him at 195 points or 100 points, which I feel like both are pretty steep, but let's see what he does and see if it might be worth it. His trait, God of Tyranny, Leadership, Mastermind. When Darkside uses leadership and fails, after resolutions, he may deal an opposing character within 6 squares and line of fire damage equal to half the result. So, equal to half the result. So if you're failing leadership, that means best case scenario, you're rolling a 4. So you're dealing maybe 1 or 2 damage to somebody within 6 squares if you fail your leadership. So it's not bad, but it's not amazing either. Look at the back of this card now. He has his special movement power is Boom Tube power. Place Darkside up to 6 squares away. Then you may place any number of friendly characters with the Apokolips keyword adjacent to him. That's actually pretty cool. So you could kind of use him as like a super taxi and bring characters from anywhere on the map, looks like, and just place them adjacent to him as long as they have the Apokolips keyword. He only gets this on click 8, 9, and 10, so it's at the end of his dial, kind of maybe when he's, retreating a little bit. And then his special attack power, the Omega Effect power. Improve targeting through elevated, hindering, breaks through blocking, can attack through characters and while adjacent to characters. Make a ranged attack with a single target. This attack can't be evaded, and damage dealt can't be reduced below the target's click number. So that's actually really cool too. That is something he gets to start off with at his 195 point click, and then gets later on from click 7 and on. So that's actually pretty useful. I mean, especially late game, I'd say when characters are on their lower click values. That means like if they're on click 5, they can't reduce that at all, basically. Am I reading that right? And damage dealt can't be reduced below the target's click number. So yeah, they wouldn't be able to reduce that damage below 5. He has 6 damage, so yeah, he could be a very good attacker, but still at 195 points, that's just a lot to spend on a team, especially if you're doing like a 300 point modern, or if you're doing silver, that's all your modern basically. But yeah, there you have it. That's Darkside, and that is everyone and everything you get in the Apokolips Planet pack. I like to do a little review at the end of these. usually it's just one character that we're reviewing, but this is a pack, so there's a few things here. Um, I'm going to give an individual ranking for, let's start off with Parademon. I'd say this Parademon is probably like a 6 out of 10. Um, all these pieces are definitely very niche, so you're going to need to play him on a Apokolips theme team to get some real use out of him. But if you are playing him on that Apokolips theme team, I'd say a 6 out of 10 is pretty solid for him. Next up is Apokolips. I'm going to put this piece at a 5 out of 10. Same exact thing. I mean, you have to play it on an Apokolips theme team for it to be worth anything. But definitely a good support piece. And like I said, I do have a soft spot for the planets. I do like them. Granny Goodness Legacy card is the next one. I'm going to put her at a 4 out of 10. She's okay. She's still not very good for what she does, and her point values or her attack values rather are just so low that you can KO her pretty easily. And then last is the Dark Side Legacy card. I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 10 too. I mean, this is just, he seems like a solid attacker, but 195 points is just way too much for what he does, which isn't a whole lot. Overall, for the whole Planet pack set, unless you have this dark side, so you got the the money's worth for it, I'm gonna put this at like a 3 out of 10. Like it's okay unless you're a huge dark side fan or a huge Apokolips fan. I'd say you could probably pass on this one, but that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think, if you're excited for this set, if you're going to be using it, or if there are any other things you wish they did differently. Maybe a different legacy card, different dark side, maybe different powers or traits on this dark side or the Apokolips Planet. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, this has been Super Heroclix, and keep on Clixing.